Okay, so we have a question here. The following is a summary of the cash book as presented by George Limited for the month of October. Okay, so here is the cash book here. Let me zoom in so that everyone can see. All right, you've got receipts, the balance brought down, and the payments. Okay, so I was looking at this question yesterday, so we need to take note of this balance here because there was an error on it in the question. We also need to take note of this balance. Okay, so here we need to take note of this one because there's an error in the question which we have to correct in the question, so we have to take note of that balance. Yes, all receipts are banked and all payments are made by check. On your own investigation, you discover. So here, colleagues, we're going to look at all of these transactions one by one. All right, and we need to show the revised cash book, and I'll show also the bank reconciliation statement. Okay, so that in case it's brought tomorrow, you have to do it. But bank reconciliation is just about correcting the differences in the cash book and the bank statement. Okay, there will be some transactions where you might not record it in the cash book, the bank has recorded it, or vice versa, and then you find now there are differences in the balances. So here we're now trying to correct those differences. So with this type of questions, first things first, was always the format is always like this. You always have to adjust the cash book. Okay, so before you start looking at each of these transactions, we open up the cash book, which I did here already. Okay, and you start with the ending balance of the cash book, which was given to us, that 554, which I told us to take note of. Okay, we bring it in our cash book on the credit side. Okay, why am I bringing it on the credit side? As you can see here in the question, the balance carried down is on the debit side, so it means the balance brought down should be on the credit side. Always remember this, colleagues. All right,
come again.
Since the balance carried down is on the debit side, have you seen this CD here? It's on the debit side. So the balance brought down, meaning the new balance for the next month, okay, or the next period, the new balance which this cash book is starting with is this 544. So it's going to come on the credit side. Are we all clear on that? Because the worst case scenario is when you open your cash book and then you find you've seen here CD 544 and you put it again here 544, you will make an error. Okay, so the balance brought down is the opposite to where the balance carried down is. Okay, yes. Any questions, colleagues, before I move further? Okay, so we'll start looking at the transactions to see which ones were missed out in the cash book, and we'll see which ones were missed out in the bank statement. So they've told us here bank charges of 136. Let me zoom in so that everyone can see the words. Bank charges of 136 entered on the bank statement have not been entered in the cash book. So, colleagues, remember when you did the cash book, this is an asset account, so it means it increases with debit and reduces with credit. Okay, so that what you need to tell yourself is this: all payments will be credited, all money received will be debited. Are we clear with that, colleagues? All payments you credit, Any money that you receive, you debit. That's how.
Sorry, come again.
All payments you credit, or all money going out you credit. The money that's coming in or receipts you debit. Okay, remember this cash book is an asset account. Okay, it's an asset account, so it increases with debit and reduces with credit.
So all the money that is coming with debit.
Mm-hmm.
You mean in the cash book?
Yes. Yes. So these bank charges of 136, we're going to credit in the cash book since it's money going out. Right? This is money being paid to the bank. So we credit.
Let's see the cash book. Let's see the cash book.
Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Before we go there, have you understood what I've just said here?
Yes.
Okay. What about the others? Are we okay with this?
So you said that the first thing that you start with is the balance brought down. It's the first thing to be recorded.
Yes, in the cash book, you start with the balance brought down. In the cash book, yes. So you have to take note where it should be. It's not always going to be on the debit side, it might be on the credit side. So you take note of where it should be.
Okay. But between the okay, it's fine.
Okay, so we
But
credit.
it can be on either side,
Yes.
depending on the question.
Yes. Okay, so this 136 we credit. The next transaction, checks drawn amounting to 267 had not been presented to the bank for payment. Okay, so these are unpresented checks. Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say on bank charges? We're debiting them?
No. It's a payment. It's a payment. So you credit.
So, sir, do we always have to ignore the... Because I can see here on number one, it says bank charges of 136 kwacha entered on the bank statement have not been entered in the cash book. So, do we still enter it regardless?
We enter it regardless.
Do we still record it on the cash book? Because it's saying
yes, well,
have not been entered.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you have to record it in the cash book. So we put it on the credit side here. Bank charges 136. The bank is already aware of it, as we never recorded it. So we credit. Okay. Number 2, I was talking about these unpresented checks. Alright. We have recorded this, but the bank is not aware of this. So this is going to go in the bank statement. Okay. Since they are not being presented to the bank, so the bank is not aware of this transaction. So this one is going to go to the bank statement. It's already been recorded in our cash book. Okay. So please, it's not every transaction that's going to go in the cash book. Okay.
Okay, so meaning amounts that have not been presented to the bank should not be included in the cash book.
Yes, because they've already been recorded in the cash book, but the bank is not aware of that. Okay, so this is a payment which the bank is not aware of, which is also called unpresented checks. Okay, unpresented checks. Checks received totaling 762 had been entered in the cash book and paid into the bank, but had not been credited by the bank until 3rd November. So also this, the cash book has already been dealt with, so this one will have to go in the bank statement. Was someone saying something? Okay. Number 4.
So meaning this 762 will be debited in the cash book?
No. We've already done that. It's only the bank where they haven't credited yet at the bank. So we need to put that in the bank statement. And one more thing, when the bank is crediting you, that's money coming in. Okay? On the bank side, it's like the opposite of your cash book. Okay, on your cash book, debit money is coming in, credit money going out. But then on the bank side, it's the opposite. So here, since they've said it hasn't been credited, okay, so we know this is money that's coming in. This is a receipt. It's not a payment, it's a receipt. Okay, because as you go through each transaction, you have to know, is it a payment or is it a receipt? Okay, so this one,
receipts are debited.
Yes, in our cash book.
But since you said that has already been entered, so meaning we will not add it in the cash book.
Yes, won't add it, because if you add it again, now you're like double counting now, since it's already been entered in the cash book. So if you try to put it again, you're double counting now. Okay, a check for 22 kwacha for sundries had been entered in the cash book as a receipt instead of as a payment. So here we have an error. Okay. This 22 kwacha was a payment, but we entered it as money coming in. So think of it like this. Let me find a clear spot where I can draw this to account. Okay, think of it like this. This is the cash book. Okay. So this 22 kwacha had, could you mute your mic? Okay. So this 22 kwacha was put here on the debit side. But in actuality, it has to be put here on the credit side. So what you're supposed to do here, colleagues, is you need to remove this 22 kwacha from the debit side and bring it on the credit side. Okay, so how do we do that? If you credit the cash book 22 kwacha, it means 22 minus 22, 0. It means basically that transaction, you have wiped out that transaction, it hasn't occurred. But we still need a 22 kwacha on the credit side. So you need to double the amount. Okay, so that here you have 44 kwacha on the credit side. So that when you subtract 44 minus 22, you remain with 22 kwacha on the credit side, and this one goes. So you credit the cash book 44 kwacha. Any questions?
So, are we going to write 22?
No, you put 44.
Or you just write directly, or just write 44?
You just write 44. I was just trying to illustrate. It. But you credit 44 kwacha. The cash book 44 kwacha. Any questions?
Sir, you can come again on that error.
There was a 22 kwacha on the debit side, okay, which wasn't supposed to be there. So we have to remove it from the debit and we need to bring it to the credit. Okay, so to remove this amount from the debit side, you need to credit the cash book with double the amount. Okay, so that you can get rid of this 22 here and remain with a 22 here. Okay, you're trying to move this 22 from here to this next side. Okay, so you have to double the amount. So if you credit the cash book 44 kwacha, this 22 kwacha goes out of the debit side. A 22 kwacha is also removed from the credit side, and you remain with a 22 kwacha on the credit side. Is that okay, madam? Or you can ask where it's not making sense. So if you see an error where a receipt has to be, where a payment was entered as a receipt or vice versa, just know you have to double the amount. That's how you can remember this. If you see an error where a payment has been entered as a receipt or a receipt has been entered as a payment, just double the amount and you've cleared that error.
That when we see
when you see a payment has been entered as a receipt, okay, money that was supposed to be going out has been recorded as money that has come in, you have to double the amount on the opposite side.
Do we always have to show what, do we always have to put in brackets that's 2 times the amount, or we can just name the transaction and just directly write the double amount? Or should we put in this times 2?
Yeah, just put the amount. It's up to you. I don't think you'll be penalized for not showing it, but it's to your best interest to show at least how these figures are coming. I think that way you get more marks. So remember that, colleagues, if a payment has been entered as a receipt, double the amount, okay? And if a receipt has been entered as a payment, double the amount. Then you'll be okay. Any questions? Madam, you never got back to me. Have you taken note of that point? Because I have to make sure you have understood.
Yes.
Okay, write it down. If a payment has been entered as a receipt, double the amount on the credit side. Okay, if a payment has been entered as a receipt, double the amount on the credit side. Then for the other one, you just know the other one is opposite. Madam Agnes, have you taken note of that? Madam Adria, have you taken note of that? Mr. Ronald, Mr. Douglas, Madam Felicitas, Mr. Sten, Mr. Sandy. Okay. That way, you don't even need to show don't even waste your time showing those T accounts I was showing. Okay, just put the amount, double the amount. All right.
Double the amount in the. If a payment has been recorded as a receipt, double the amount on the other side.
On the credit side, to be specific. You see, like here, a payment was entered as a receipt in this transaction. A payment was entered as a receipt, so we doubled the credit. Okay, we doubled the credit. Okay, can I go to the next one? A check received from K. Jones for 80 kwacha had been returned by the bank and marked no funds available. No adjustment has been made in the cash book. Okay, so basically what has happened here is we received money from K. Jones and we recorded on our debit side 80 kwacha. Record on your debit side here that you received money from K. Jones 80 kwacha. Jones gave you a check. You take that check to your bank and the bank tells you there is no money here, so you haven't received any 80 kwacha. So colleagues, how do we get rid of this 80 kwacha error on the debit side? Because if you leave it there, you're saying that you have actually received money from Jones, but in actuality, the bank has told you Jones hasn't got money to pay you. So how do we remove this 80 on the debit side? A check received from K. Jones for 80 kwacha had been returned by the bank and marked no funds available. No adjustment has been made in the cash book.
That's a dishonest check, so I feel we have to put it.
Please. Oh, sorry. If you're using two, okay, just say it again. It's now clear.
I'm saying that's like a dishonest check.
It
You have to put it on the credit side of the adjusted cash book.
Yes. So when you put it on the credit side, you cancel out this error. 80 minus 80 equals 0. Okay? So you have cancelled this error. So just remember, this T account, the way it works is it's just, you're always subtracting debit minus credit or credit minus debit. Okay? So we'll debit dishonored check here. 80 kwacha. Okay.
Credit.
Yes, we credit.
Also for rejected amount, you just put the amount so that it cancels.
Yes. 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 That's how you correct a lot of errors. If you want to cancel out errors, you just put the amount on the opposite side. Okay. Okay. Are we okay with that one? So dishonored check. Okay. Or anytime you just see a dishonored check, you just say, oh, it's going on the credit side. Okay. Okay. A standing order for a business rates installment of 150 kwacha on 30 October had not been entered in the cash book. Alright, so a standing order is also when you make a payment, okay, through your bank. So the bank is aware of this, they made that payment already. So you have to also record in your cash book that this payment has been made. So you credit your cash book. So standing order, you credit 150 kwacha. Okay, number 7, all dividends received are credited directly to the bank during October. Amounts totaling 62 kwacha were credited by the bank, but no entries were made in the cash book. So colleagues, where is this going? It's been credited by the bank. So in our cash book, where is it going to go?
The debit side.
Wonderful. Okay, when you just hear the bank side saying credit, just know that, okay, that's money coming in. Okay, so you're debiting on your cash book. Okay, a check drawn for 66 kwacha for stationery had been incorrectly entered in the cash book as 60 kwacha. Okay, so we have another error. Instead of putting 66 kwacha, okay, we put 60 kwacha here. So here we have an understated payment. Okay. So these errors, you always see them in this type of question. So for this understated payment, all right, on our cash book, let's see where I can draw. Okay, this is our cash book here. All right, we put 60 kwacha on the credit side here. Okay, but this is not the actual amount, it's less. Okay, so colleagues, what do we need to do to correct this? This 60 kwacha here, what do we have to do to make it become 66 kwacha? The amount is put on the correct side, but it's not the correct amount. So what do we need to do so that this understated payment becomes the correct payment? We need to add another 6 kwacha, right, on the credit side, right? So that's 60 plus 6, 66 kwacha. Okay, so you're going to credit the cash book 6 kwacha because you've got an understated payment. Any questions?
So you just credit the 6 kwacha, not the whole 66 kwacha?
Madam, this is what will happen if you credit the whole 66 kwacha. Someone has put 60 here, and if you put another 66 here, in total you have put 126. Now you're overstating the payment now. So remember these 4 golden rules. Okay? These 4 golden rules. When you have an
where did that 120 come from?
Now just illustrating. When you have an understated payment, credit the understated amount. Okay, so here the understated amount, since it was supposed to be 66, we put 60. So 66 minus 60, you get 6. Okay, the understated amount was 6 kwacha. Okay. Then when you have an overstated payment, colleagues, what should you do? If in terms, it's just now, it's the opposite of what I've said above. So what should you do if you have an overstated payment? Yes, colleagues? What do you think we need to do? If a payment is understated, we credit the understated amount. So what about if it's overstated? What do you think we need to do? Do we still credit the understated amount?
You debit it.
Yes, you debit the overstated amount. When a payment or a receipt has been understated, okay, you debit the understated amount. Okay, when a receipt has been understated, debit the understated amount. What about when a receipt has been overstated? Do you debit the overstated amount? Mr. Sunday?
No, you have removed the screen.
You credit that.
Yes, you credit the overstated amount. So just remember, if you can remember, just two of these. Okay, since you'll be dealing, in case this one comes tomorrow, remember this one for tonight. When you have an understated payment, credit the understated amount. Okay, which we did here. We credited the understated amount, which is 6 kwacha. Okay. Any questions? Okay. the balance brought forward in the cash book had been 711, not 761. So remember I said we have to take note of this number here. Have you seen this 761? It was supposed to be 711. Okay, so how do we reduce this to 711? We need to debit so that we reduce this amount. Okay, this is an overstated balance brought down. Okay, so when you have an overstated balance brought down, okay, when you have an overstated balance brought down, debit. Okay, but this one, because this balance brought down was on the credit side, sometimes you might find the balance brought down and the error was on the other side. So this one I don't think I can put a standard rule. Okay, because the balance brought down can be either on the debit or credit side. So come to think of it, I don't think there's a standard rule here. Okay, so what you just must remember is, since here this 761 is on the credit side and it's been overstated, so we need to reduce it. So in order to reduce it, we just need to debit the overstated amount. Okay, then it was vice versa. If the balance brought down was on the debit side and it was overstated, you need to credit so that you reduce the overstated amount. Okay,
so for
here
we don't multiply, we just add the exact same amount on the other side.
No, you deduct to find out how much it was overstated by. It was overstated by 50 kwacha. So you debit so that you reduce that overstatement.
Okay, so let's say it was overstated by, for example, it was supposed to be 50 kwacha. Then it was overstated at 70 kwacha. Like if it was a receipt, then on the debit side we'll say 70 minus 20.
Wait, you're saying, let me just draw a T account so that everyone is following. You are saying,
Sir, are you recording?
Yes, I'm recording.
Okay.
Colleagues, there's no sleeping tonight. You have a test tomorrow. So don't say that, since it's recording, I'll sleep. I'll watch at 05. These are 1 hour videos.
Sir, it's taking long. We need to wake up to study.
Okay. No, it's almost done. Well, actually, we're done, because after this, we need to just get the balance and we're almost done. Okay. Yes. All right. So, colleagues, so we debit the adjusted cash book by 50 so that we correct that overstated balance brought down on the credit side. So this is how you close the accounts. Okay, to get the new balance. You see which side has got the bigger amount. In this case, it looks like the credit side has the bigger amount. So you just add all the numbers: 554 plus 136 plus 44 plus 80 plus 150 plus 6. You're going to get 970. Confirm with our calculators. You're going to get 970. So the bigger amount, you put it on both sides, okay? You put here 970 here. You put 970 here. Okay? Then, after you have done that, you're just going to subtract this total credit minus the total debit. Okay? The total credit minus the total debit. Okay? And since the debit side has got the lower amount, that's why we bring the balance carried down on the debit side. The balance carried down goes on the side which has got the lower amount. So the balance carried down will be brought on the debit side because it has the lower amount. So you're going to say 970, which was the total, minus the total for the debit side is 62 plus 50. I think that should be 112. Yes. So 970 minus 112, you get 858. Balance carried down on there. Here on the debit side, and you say the balance brought down will go on the credit side here. Okay. So that's the new balance for our cash book, 858. Any questions?
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
Just ask where you're not clear so that I start from that point. Because to go back again, which part were you not clear on?
After you found the total of the bigger side, which is 970. Now where did the balance carried down? That's in the brackets there. That's 62 plus 50. Where did it come from?
These are the amounts on the debit side. So I'm just getting the total amounts for the debit.
Since you shoot in 970 minus brackets 62 plus 50.
I'm trying to illustrate for the person who will be studying to see, okay, he's getting the total for the debits. That's why I put 62 plus 50. I would have also put 112 here. Okay. Yes. So basically you're just subtracting total credit minus total debit, or total debit minus total credit. That's all that's going on here. Okay. You get the bigger amount. You put it on both sides. Then you subtract. Either if credit is the bigger amount, credit minus debit. If debit is the bigger amount, debit minus credit. And the balance carried down is always going to go to the side with the lower amount. So here it was the debit side. Then the balance brought down will go on the opposite side to reflect the new balance. Yes. So any questions before I just show the back reconciliation? It wasn't part of the question. The question you end on this. Once you've got this new balance of 858, you end it there. Okay. But in the exam, you might be asked to get the bank reconciliation statement. So usually when you are getting the bank reconciliation statement, I always advise start with the balance for the bank statement. It makes life easy. They told us the bank statement showed a closing balance of 1,353 debit. So if the balance is on the debit side from the bank, it means on our cash book it has to be on the credit side. So it has to be represented with a negative number. Okay, because on the bank side, remember, credit is where when money comes in, it grows, so the balances usually come on the credit side. So if the bank has a balance on the debit side, just know you're starting with a negative number. So our bank statement will start with negative 1,353 since it's on the debit side. Then you look for the transactions which were not recorded in the bank. Okay, so we had this transaction. Checks drawn amounting to 267 had not been presented to the bank for payment. Unpresented checks. Okay, money was paid out, the bank is not aware. So in our bank statement, you're going to say less unpresented checks, because these unpresented checks represents payments, money going out. Okay, so you're going to subtract negative 1,353 minus 267. Okay, you'll get a figure. May I just added all the figures together, but you're going to get a figure. Then the other transaction that was missed.
Sorry, sir, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
For the unpresented checks, like the situations whereby we add not less.
That's when you start with this. When you start with the balance as per adjusted cash book, then you're working now backwards now.
Okay. So maybe in the question, if we're given the balance as the adjusted cash book, we are going to use it. Or when do we use this one? Or
It's up to you. It's up to you for you. Yes, it's up to you to choose. Unless the question states otherwise and tells you, okay, start with this balance. But if the question is silent, it's up to you to choose. So the one which is the easiest and which you can remember easier is when you start with the balance as per bank statement. Because you know any payments you're subtracting, any money coming in you're adding. Okay?
No, okay.
And once you are familiar with that, then you can now try doing questions where you start with the adjusted cash book. Now there you are doing in reverse. Okay, so any payments, you are reversing them, you are adding them back. Any money coming in, you are reversing it, so you are subtracting it out. Okay. Then the next transaction, checks received totaling 762 had been entered in the bank, in the cash book, and paid into the bank, but had not been credited by the bank until 3rd November. Okay, so this is an uncredited check. Okay, so it's money coming in, so you're adding. So you're going to say negative 1,353 minus 267 plus 762. You get negative 858, which correlates with this credit balance here. Then if you started with the balance with the cash book, if you started with this fig, you are supposed to come back and end at this figure here.